History and organizing class. My name is Awodi Ngwenya. I'll be the moderator for this call, and also with me, I'm with Yvonne Dushime and Alex Wafula, our lead developer, who are having sleepless nights here in Zimbabwe, developing our application for it to be better and good. So Alex and Yvonne, can you introduce yourself to the team?
Hello, hey, how are you doing? Alex here.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Dushime Yvonne.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was Alex and Yvonne Dushime introducing themselves. They are here at the I Love Black People headquarters office in Harare, Zimbabwe, working tirelessly and also as well enjoying the Black-friendly places in Harare, Zimbabwe with great food. They can even tell that here in Harare, there's a lot of good food, and we invite all of you to come, and also you should visit Mosea Tunya, which is would be known as the Victoria Falls, but would like as an indigenous name, we love it to call it Mosea Tunya, which we share with our Zambian friend country, the border. We share it with Zambia. So that's it. And also I can see people, we are raising hands. Kindly introduce yourself through the chat room. And we are also going to be live on Facebook. And today we have speakers. We have two speakers from Zambia. Also we have Namibia covered. We also have Dominican Republic, where our brothers are also facing xenophobia there through the immigration offices. And I'm sure we have our brother Maximo. I'm not so sure yet if he is up yet so that he can give us updates on that. If he is not, we have Yvonne give us just like a quick update on what's going on with our brother, who is also the ambassador within Dominican Republic as well. Yes, also the good news, a quick announcement. We launched our Green Book for the 2022 edition. You should go and grab it. Good content, and it's available on Amazon. You should make sure that you have the Green Book as well. So without wasting time, let's have our speakers to present. And the first speaker is going to be Sikwanda Sianyanga, all the way from Zambia in Lusaka. Today I can see our brother is at home. He's not driving. Sometimes he'll be busy joining our meetings whilst driving. He's a busy person, but he makes effort to join the meeting. I can see we have our sister Natalia on call. Welcome, Ambassador Natalia. Hopefully we'll be in Namibia very soon. Jeff, we welcome you. Curtis Murphy, always, brother. Thank you. Edwin Chamba will also be a speaker all the way from Tanzania again. Pierre Clever, thank you for the support. Sango Almami, Alex Gandhi, to mention but a few. We appreciate all of you guys for the support and love. You spend your time joining our Saturday Zoom meeting. You know you have great things to do, chill with friends, but you manage to have us as your friends to chill with on this special Saturday. We appreciate you. So we are going to start with our brother from Zambia, and our brother Supenda. You can unmute yourself, and also you can introduce yourself as well as to pray in your own local language in Zambia. Welcome, brother.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm caught unaware. I never expected that I can be the first speaker. Before I go to the introduction, please, shall we pray? I'm Tonga by tribe, so I'm going to use a local language which well spoken in Zambia, which is Nyanja. So shall we pray, please? Ambuye tikutokozani tukutamandani panthawi ino yamene mwatipasa. Ambuye tipempera pametiza yamba meeting yamba ninaise futi sirizani naise. ambuye tipempera kuti vintu viri vonse vamene tizachita discuss lelo lekani vinkale vintu ambuye mulungu vamene vizatitandizira. Tipempherera onse vantu vamene vatekina part pa meeting iyi, wedaliseni ambuye mulungu vapaseni nzeru. Tapempherera futi kuli va admin abo bali ku Zimbabwe na ku USA, ambuye mulungu vapaseni nzeru so that vapitilize kutandizira vantu vambiri. Ni muzina Yesu Kristu napempera. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, thank you. My name's Sekwenda Sianyanga. I'm Tonga by tribe. And the Tongas, we are coming from the southern part of Zambia. And I'm glad that we are sharing the Zambezi River with you, our friends from Zimbabwe. I'm currently a student of history at Kwame Nkrumah University. I'm also a public speaker, and of course an entrepreneur and a member of World Book Club. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you personally, our admins, for the great job that you are doing in bringing the Black people together. It's not something easy. May God bless you, may Mwari bless you. So going direct to the topic of today, which was posted in the group some few days ago. You said today we'll be talking about the African Union and how it has impacted the Pan-Africanism. Yeah, but before I go that, let me also greet my fellow panelists, those from Tanzania, from Namibia, and I've also one of my sisters from Zambia. Yeah, I'm very much glad that I also have someone from Zambia who is presenting something today. So going direct to the point, my fellow comrades, we know that the instance of the African Union, the reason why it was formed, formed, to protect the sovereignty or the rights of Black people within Africa, to promote democracy, to promote peace, and also a number of things. Now the question is that African Union, how does it impacted the Pan-Africanism? I would say currently, we have seen a number of incidents that have been happening in part of Africa, and we have seen the AU coming in, trying to bring peace. Like currently we have an incident that happened in Congo, the M23 rebels, we know the story, and we saw the president of Kenya coming in, trying to resolve those issues. We saw Thabo Mbeki from South Africa, of course, coming in, as one of the members of the African Union, of course, being presided by the president of, is it Senegal? Is it Macky Sall, who is the current chairperson of African Union? So we have seen a little bit of progress in the, I would say it has, impacted, I would say it's a 50-50 thing. It has impacted, or it has helped the Pan-African, organization to work, smoothly, because it's more like it is helping us to make sure that our dreams of having, a one Africa, having, a Black person being, treated equally, despite where he is, where she is, it has really helped us, to live our dreams. And within, a short period of time that you, moderator, you have given me, I would like to go through maybe one or two core values of the African Union. And one of them is the respect of democracy and the principles. So we have seen, the African Union has been, agitating so that all the African countries can respect, our democracy. And the other thing, some of the core values of African, Union is the respect of humans and people's rights. Yes, so on this one, I would like to also say, the African Union should, take this into serious consideration, because trust me, A lot is going on in Africa as I'm talking right now, and our organization has done in some African countries, not every African countries. If we talk about what is happening now in Ethiopia or just in Congo, you know, our brothers are being humiliated there, meaning they are denied the access of human rights. And the responsibility of this organization is to make sure that, you know, our brothers, our black brothers are being protected, you know, in their various, you know, countries. So, and the other, you know, core value that I want to go through today is a visa-free Africa. And, you know, it is the responsibility of the African Union to make sure that, you know, this visa-free, you know, movement, it continues. I've seen some other countries that have signed some agreement of visa-free, and it is a one step ahead, you know, to our dreams as Pan-Africanists, because we really want to see a free visa, you know, African, not whereby when I travel from here to Zimbabwe, I need this document, I need this, and that. So we really need this organization, the African Union, to make sure that they help us in that area.
Yes, Brother Sikwenda. Sorry for the nasty feedback. I would like you to to have a minute to just wrap up, because other speakers also want to speak right now. They're coming, like our brother Sikwenda is taking much of our time.
Okay, all right, okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother, for this privilege once more. And just like what I was saying earlier on, I would like, you know, our organization, the African Union, you know, to be a little bit, you know, serious, you know, with their work, because they are a big board and we are looking towards to them to defend our sovereignty. So thank you so much once more for giving me this privilege. And thank you so much. This is my presentation for today. Thank you so much, Aluta. Continua. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Brother Sikwenda. We appreciate you. And also, on next, we're going to have our brother all the way from Tanzania. Then that's Brother Edwin Chamba. Again, my brother, my apologies. On the flyer, we were named Elijah. That was an error. Our apologies about that. That was Ambassador Sikwenda Nyanga all the way from Zambia, our neighboring country here in Zimbabwe, in the Southern Africa. So we also have a brother Maximo all the way from Dominican Republic to share with us the challenges they are facing there with the immigration, and how I Love Black People is helping them to provide with the Black-friendly lawyers to enter the situation before they are being deported as well. And that will be the last person to speak. And also Brother Maximo will be speaking French. So Yvonne Dushime, who is also our database manager, can speak 5 languages. We are so lucky to have Sister Yvonne Dushime to be among us as Love Black People. So we're going to have our brother Edwin Chamba to speak. Then after that, our brother Maximo. And Natalia, I think I haven't seen Anna Nigola at the moment. So you can just let me know if she did, if she's going to join or she's with you at the moment. I can see, yes, brother Edwin Chamba.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Greetings to everyone. My name is Edwin Chamba. I Love Black People Ambassador from Tanzania. I hope every one of us is doing well and good. Thank you for my fellow from Zambia for the speech he gave us. Thank you everyone. Thank our coordinators. I Love Black People from everywhere that makes this meeting to be possible in every Saturday, so that everyone can get knowledge and enjoy being Black people. Going direct to the discussion on how African Union got an impact on Pan-Africanism. Yes, I may say it's correct that African Union, since it was Organization for African Union, OAU, from our ancestors, Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta, Ahmed Sekou Toure, Robert Mugabe, Samora Machel, and others, when they got an idea to introduce this, so that their main objective of doing that was to make sure that Africa is liberated from colonial rule or colonial powers. And they did what they did to succeed that mission, that every African country got its independence through Organization of African Union. By this time, it is called African Union. It is still having some impact on Pan-Africanism to different countries, though there is some problems in Africa, like civil wars, drought and famine, and something like that. But they are trying to do something good for the Africans, as our ancestors planned it to be. Yes. When you speak of our ancestors, when you speak about Kwame Nkrumah, maybe Julius Nyerere and Thomas Sankara, and the rest in paradise, we mean the African space for the Africans by Africans. Those people on those days, they did what they can for their people. They didn't consider what they get in terms of money. They didn't consider what they got in terms of money and other things, but they do consider and focus on their people, on how their people can live in a good way, how their people can be good economically, socially, and that way. Quite different to nowadays on us. When we take a look on us, there are so many betrayers in Africa that betrays Africans for their benefits. They don't stand for their society. They stand for their stomach and their bank accounts. That is where the problem comes. It is different it is different to our ancestors, like those I said before, because they do what they can, and they made sure that all African countries, they have to get their independence, so that they use their resources to move on and make some developments for their people. Quite different to nowadays. So in order to see the impact of African Union for this time that we are living, we have to change our mind. All the youth should change their mind. They should change their mind and live for their people. They don't need to consider that when people go to Europe is when people got development. They have to consider that even here in Africa, we can develop using our resources, using everything that we can, using the facilities that we have to develop our countries, to develop our societies and communities. That is all I can say by this time.
All right, thank you so much, Brother Edwin Chamba. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. That was Brother Edwin Chamba, all the way from Tanzania, presenting on behalf of people of Tanzania with our current theme, which is African Union impact on the Pan-Africanism. So on next, we're going to have Sister Natalia. Is Sister Anna available, or she couldn't manage to join? Yes, Sister Natalia, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm not sure if she's available, but she was supposed to be online.
All right,
Okay, she's not
maybe
online.
okay, maybe she's facing yeah,
My
maybe
apologies, okay,
she's facing
because I
some
can't
network
see
challenges.
online. Maybe network problem.
All right, maybe it is a network problem. That was Sister Natalia from Namibia. Yes, can we, Yvonne, can we have our brother Maximo from Dominican Republic to give us a presentation and can also translate to English? Yes, Yvonne, can you hear me?
Yes, let me try to contact him again. You can see that he left the call.
All right, maybe he's facing network challenges. Yes, we're supposed to hear from our brother all the way from Dominican Republic on how they're facing challenges with immigration. These are forms of xenophobia which are going there. And also wanted to hear out how other ambassadors who are there of our love Black people are helping them. But unfortunately, I think he's facing some network challenges as we speak right now. So we might not hear him speak on the Zoom meeting. Yeah, so instead, I think Yvonne, I can see our time is not on our side. I think you can just give us a quick update on what transpired and what I love Black people is doing in helping our brother in terms of offering Black-friendly lawyers who are helping him with kind of this situation.
Yes, thank you, my brother Award. So according to the conversation I had with our brother Maximo from Dominican Republic, he was saying that they are facing issues. Okay, I can see that she joined again. Yes, they are facing issues where they have been asked to pay again their visa, and visa it's about $150. And also the lawyers that they are getting were not helpful because they are not Black friendly. So with I Love Black People, we tried to help them to get like Black friendly lawyers, and also to see how we can even help the other brothers and sisters from there. So we will let you know the plan of how we are going to help those brothers and sisters, because they are facing a lot of racism. They are treating them in a bad way. And also, if you have your friends and family from there, you can tell them to reach out to us and see how we can help them. Let me see whether he'll be able to give you more information.
Okay, did he join the call or not?
I think I saw him joining. Yes. But he didn't join using the audio. Let me send it.
All right, whilst waiting for our brother to join with audio, so that he can give us the current updates on what's going on in Dominican Republic. We would like to announce to each and every one of you joining this call, and also we appreciate your love and support of the Love Black People. We just launched our 2022 Green Book, and it's available on Amazon. Support the movement by buying the book. The link through Facebook is on description. You can find the link and then purchase our book. And also here on Zoom, It's in the chat section. I'm sure Yvonne is going to share again the link for the Green Book. The 22 edition, it features our co-founder, Sinclair Skinner, and also Nana Akua with the healthcare edition. So if you buy the Green Book, you receive some healthcare tips and also healthcare articles in that book, which are quite helpful. I did go through it. It's worth it to go to purchase and have it. So it's also available. You can see, you can check out my background right now. It's there. That's the Green Book. So it's where we started, and we tried to digitize the idea by having the Alaf Black People Safe Places app. So make sure that you get to have this one of these copies with you, so that you can relate and you can have a better understanding on where we are going in order for us to achieve our goal. Yes, Brother Maxine is connecting, but if he continues to face these network challenges, already yet what is going on, we'll jump on to, I can see also Nana Koa is enjoying the call for our healthcare lecture. So yes, Brother Maximo, make sure that if you want to tell Brother Maximo to join with call with Wi-Fi or cellular, so that he can be able to have the mic on.
Yes, I'm trying to help him.
I can see he's only joining with video only. Yes, yeah, I can see Brother Maximo is facing challenges connecting with us. Yes, maybe whilst we're waiting for Yvonne to fix these challenges which Brother Maximo is facing, we have Alex Wafula, our lead developer, to let us know what are the updates and what's going on with the application and what to look forward for our application. Yes, Brother Wafula, can you just give us a quick update on what to look out for the application and what are our expectations for this year through our app?
All right, thank you, Howard. Yeah, for I think this week and the coming weeks, we are looking to be able to release the app on a weekly basis. So we are hoping to get a lot of feedback from the community in terms of helping us around feedback on what we can change on the app to improve it, get it ready for the market. Again, like I said, we're still really on the early stages of developing it, and we are working towards ensuring that we have enough recommendations to get to a point whereby we can actually start using those recommendations for the benefit of protecting Black people, especially when they are vulnerable across the globe. So look out for it this coming week in terms of the new update. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it would be great if you can download it and send us feedback. You can reach out to Howard or Yvonne or myself on the WhatsApp groups, or also email us on info@iloveblackpeople.com with any feedback you have around the app. It will really be great if you as the community could help us figure out the bugs, the sections that are not working on the app, any errors we have on the app for us to improve this application as a community.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. That was our lead developer, Alex Wafula from Kenya. Up next, we're going to have our brother Maximo. Maximo, can you unmute yourself?
Alors?
Oui,
Ok, je dois parler. Tu traduis pour moi?
oui, je vais traduire.
Ok, jusqu'avant, je dis bonjour à tous les gens qui étaient là.
Yes, he's greeting everyone on this call.
Ok, je suis très content avec vous pour le moment.
He's so happy to be on this call.
Ok, comme a dit hier, nous avons les Haïtiens, nous avons beaucoup de problèmes ici avec l'immigration.
People
déjà
from
dit.
Haiti, they have a lot of problems with immigration.
Parce que avant, le président qui était là avant, Danilo Meillan,
The president who was there before was, I can say, black friendly with them.
il a donné un papier pour 1 an seulement.
He gave them the paper for only 1 year.
Mais le président qui est venu pour le moment, c'est Luis Abinadel.
Sorry, the president for right now,
Luis Abinadel,
yeah, his name is Luis Abinader.
mais il n'a pas donné le papier avec les Haïtiens pour le moment.
He didn't give the papers to people from Haiti from now.
C'est comment nous avons vécu ici, seulement un passeport, un visa.
Right now, they are living with a passport without a visa.
Si nous n'avons pas ça, c'est aller.
Yes, and without a passport with a visa, they are telling them to leave the country. Yes, vous pouvez continuer. Bien, c'est tout. Puis c'est tout. Yes. That was our brother Maximo from Haiti, and it was like he gave us like an overview of how things are in Haiti right now. That was all. I think we are going to invite him again for like next week for more details. Merci beaucoup, Maximo, pour votre temps.
Ok, c'est pas de problème. S'il y a quelques questions que tu veux poser, je suis là.
Yes, if there are questions that people would like to ask, he's still on the call, he'll be able to answer.
Yes, I can see Yvonne. Joyce Cooper wanted to ask something to our brother Maximo.
Yes, he can send a message in the comment section. We still have our brother Maximo, he'll be able to respond.
Yes, I was Joyce Cooper. I think you Joyce Cooper wanted to speak something. Or you can send something through the chat room, our sister Joyce Cooper. Yeah, I can see Curtis Murphy suggesting that we can use Telegram to make this outreach and to have more people joining due to network challenges and data issues across Africa. Yes, that was Brother Maxime. He's currently in Dominican Republic, and they're facing some immigration challenges with the current president who is there, who is not issuing, who made like a command of not issuing their visas. The current president who was there made sure that they had a visa which lasted only for 1 year. So right now they need to renew their visas, and the people at the immigration keep on asking them to give, keep on asking them to submit money, and whilst they're delaying and they're not giving them visas, at the end they're facing eviction from Haiti. And I think we have clear updates, and also we'll share with you. And I Love Black People is providing some best lawyers to help them through to speed up the process so that they can have their visas on time. currently 5 people, they don't have the visas, and efforts are being made for them to get the visas. And also, I think there are 4 people whose their passport has expired, and also a lot of Black people is helping them tirelessly. By Wednesday, we were sure that they will receive their passports as well. So that was Brother Maximo from the Dominican Republic giving us updates on the situation they are facing. There's a forms of xenophobia happening there, and we as a lot of Black people, we don't support such things. Yes, Brother Joyce Kupam is also asking, how can I help with the Dominican Republic? I will make sure that we'll reach out to you for you to help us. As a lot of Black people, we're a community whereby we help each other in times of trouble. We try by all means to put the password, like we try by all means to help each other financially where there's a need and where there's danger. That's our goal. Our mission is to make sure that Black people, wherever they are treated with dignity and respect, and they are happy all the time. So reach out to Sister Joyce and also all the Alaf people community in order for them to give assistance to our brothers in the Dominican Republic. The only place they feel free and they feel happy is when they join our community meetings, our calls, but actually they are not safe in the Dominican Republic. We need also as many places which are safe here for Black people right there. So we need recommendations of Black people, Black friendly lawyers who can take care of our people. Yeah, I can see Nana Kua has joined. So we'd like to welcome Nana Kua for the healthcare class edition.
Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I see some cameras. I see Mama Ayo. Peace, Mama Ayo. I see Miss Joyce. I see, hey, Natalia. Natalia had somebody else sitting in last time. That wasn't your face last week, Natalia. Okay, and Chakun and Vincent and Major and hey, oh, okay, Alex and Yvonne sitting there together. Okay. Yes, very good. And hello, Award. Greetings, everyone else that I can't see, but you are here with us. I appreciate you. So today we are, oh, and Sickwind, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So yes, greetings, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are restarting our cycle for the Pan-African Healthcare class. And so this week is pretty much the introduction, sort of talking a little bit about, let me see if I can, allow me to share, please. And I tried to pull it up already. We'll see how smoothly this goes today.
Yes, you're allowed.
Everything else except that is up here, isn't it? Got all kind of stuff. If I go to this, oh, there it is. And okay, you can see it now. What can you see? Can you see the syllabus?
Yes, but it's not open.
It's not open?
Yes.
Oh, so you're seeing my files?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. And on my screen, it is showing what I, oh, gosh. Oh, there it goes. Now?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, very good. Okay, so let's start with the syllabus. So just to kind of give you an idea, and I think if there are new people, I'm not sure. Pretty much we are teaching in this class how to take control of your health and healing. So we highlight various natural even some over-the-counter herbs, homeopathic remedies, vitamins, essential oils, flower essences, things of that nature that assist in maintaining and regaining health, right? And so we talk about how to boost the immune system, how to relieve daily stressors, which of course can, you know, cause all sorts of conditions for the mind, body, and spirit. And we talk about what to add to your natural medicine chest. And most of the things we mentioned, of course, you can have on hand, but usually I'll try to highlight what things I think are most important to kind of have on hand. And then we just talk about traditionally how different remedies that we discussed have been used to treat different conditions, different illnesses, different diseases when the body is not at ease. Of course, this is all for educational purposes, just to educate yourself, to add to your toolbox of how to be healthy. As with anything, of course, we always recommend to seek advice from your medical professional or your healthcare practitioner, your local clinic or what have you. But basically the objective is to promote self-love and empowerment through self-healing and disease prevention training. Giving you the historical background and historical overview of this stuff is all to enhance our knowledge. My belief is we have to be healthy and whole to be able to fight against racism and xenophobia. So we have to be in the condition, top shape in order to do that. I also have listed, and this was done some while ago, just kind of pulling from so many possibilities and so many resources that are available, but pulling from some books that you can reference that I encourage you to read, to get familiar with, to have in your personal libraries, to refer to in addition to whatever handouts and such that we show here. So I've listed some of these here. And pretty much this week, and week one is going to be separated. I think this is the 6-week schedule. So we're divided currently in 8-week intervals. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the holistic approach, the principles, the modalities, what concepts are involved in holistic healing, what it actually means. And then we'll talk about some basics of nutrition. Again, just for you to be familiar with what the different nutrients are, micronutrients, macronutrients, where to find them, how to take them, how to find them in food sources. And we'll probably save the food combining and other elements of eating healthy for week 2. So let's get into this a little bit. I also would really love this cycle if you would give it in the chat your personal needs or interests, if there's an area that you would like more information on, if you have a particular concern. I think that it would be most helpful. I can always try to include information that may be of particular interest to you. For those of us that are joining, I know this is live streamed as well, but if you're in the class and you have a particular interest or question or concern or something you maybe have heard of and are not familiar with, I'll try to address those things either as part of the class or separately in the chat. But I do encourage participation, your feedback. I think that will give you a better experience in the class as well. So what is holistic healing? What is holistic medicine? What are the components of it? But basically, holistic medicine is a form of healing that considers the whole person, the mind, the body, the spirit, and the emotions. Usually we just hear about mind, body, and spirit. I like that I found this definition that included emotions, even though that ties into, well, spirit and mind. If you joined us before, as you may know, we talk about emotional balancing and using flower essences or flower remedies in which to do that. And I think that's very important because our emotional health or our mental health or our psychological health, as Black people, we do not always address that. And we do not always take very seriously the impact that it has on us physically. So I wanted to make sure I included that piece. We hear mind, body, spirit all of the time, but we definitely need to focus on our emotions. And basically, it considers this whole person in the quest for optimal health and wellness, right? So holistic wellness, that approach is just looking like considering all of these components and making sure they're all in balance. Everything works together. Everything is relative and everything is related. And so any health regimen or healing routine or ritual that you incorporate into your life should address your entire being. I have listed here these holistic healing principles. This is more so for your reference, but again, the focus is optimal health. We know that we have to address all of the issues. And of course, we know that being in balance in all areas is important. So here we even expanded a little further. So we're talking about physical health, environmentally, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually. We could even put financially here. But there's so many aspects that we have to consider to make sure that we are living our best lives, that we are living fully and completely, and that all of these things are in balance. Because with any one of these areas being, off kilter, this can affect our overall well-being. Love is always the answer. So the healing power of love is important. You have to always be gracious and kind and accepting and spiritual. And a lot of this is all about yourself. Of course, you want a practitioner that exudes these characteristics, right? But sometimes we just have to be gentle with ourselves. We have to be kind and loving to ourselves. And we have to take good care of ourselves. And that's the ultimate, I think, display or demonstration of self-love. Holistic approach deals with the whole person. We've kind of spoken about that. Prevention and treatment. We have to know what's causing the problem. We need to always evaluate, okay, I have a headache. What is the cause of this headache? Not just what can I take to get rid of the headache. We have to consider what are the contributing factors? What are the root causes to the imbalance, to whatever illness or condition that we have. We also have to recognize our innate power to heal ourselves. We have to, and this is very empowering, we have to always take control when we can get it, right? And sometimes the healthcare system will take that power away from us, or not really encourage or bring to the forefront that power. And I always say, you have the power even when you go in. So yes, you have a degree, well-learned, well-educated person that you're going to for help, but you're coming with the information that they need. So you can have that power to write down what your symptoms are, what your lifestyle is, what your normal routine is, how you normally feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of those things, right? What your stress level is like, what type of job you have and how that impacts your overall well-being. Keeping track of how you eat and going to the doctor with that information. What is your diet? What is your normal food and liquid intake? Taking all of those things, that's information, and that is absolutely all necessary for them to even suggest what it is that needs to be done. You may have to incorporate a number of healing systems. This is definitely a major part, I think, of healing for most people, even people who choose to go the allopathic or Western route. They're always complementary or traditional methods. I don't really like to say alternative or what have you, or usually when I'm referring to traditional, I mean pre-allopathic, pre-Western medicine. I'm meaning what we're talking about here: herbs, nutrition, spiritual healing. But an integration of all those things, I think, can be key and very necessary, not just what prescription medications to take, not just what procedures, surgeries, and things of that nature to undergo. Combine whatever may help your situation. Sometimes we're in a situation that can be completely addressed holistically or naturally. Sometimes we have advanced or progressed to situations where it may need intervention from some medications or certain types of procedures. Be okay with that. It's not a betrayal of your traditions and being holistic and living, naturally if you have to integrate something. And I get that a lot. I've gotten over the years many people who, and as a holistic person will say, oh, well, I have cancer, or I have, this issue, diabetes, HIV, it can be any number of things. Okay, tell me what to do, naturally. And can I just do it that way? All of that is always going to be your comfort level. What is okay with you? At what stage, at what level, at what degree have you already tried other things, even the natural things? And it's okay if you have to go outside of some of the natural healing, because I've always gotten, not people who are coming from the other side of, oh, I only do what my medical doctor says and I only take the prescriptions. I'm coming, a lot of times people are coming to me, or in the past will come to me asking, needing permission almost to try something outside of the natural or holistic realm. That is absolutely an individual choice, and you have to make it and give yourself permission sometimes to do things that may be outside of how you grew up. Oh, I grew up vegetarian, or I grew up always just taking natural remedies, and that's what my mother did and my grandparents did. And, people almost have to give themselves permission to go outside of that. Do what is comfortable for you, what may increase the quality of your life, what may prolong your life, even if it's not completely natural. Integrating systems, I think, is fine. And either way, that self-love I mentioned earlier, you have to do what works best for you and what is getting the results that you need. And the other thing is, you have to look at some of this stuff is temporary. The idea is that all of this would be temporary. If you're dealing with a condition, the idea is we're dealing with this on a temporary basis to get our bodies back in balance, to fight off whatever infection or to heal whatever condition. And then we can maybe go back to only natural remedies. And that's just one example. Teaching by example, you always want a practitioner that's going to educate you, teach you how to, stay healthy, how to eat well. If you're diabetic and they never discuss what you eat with you, you probably need another provider, right? You have to always know how to avoid getting back into a situation. So you get out of a situation, you want to always know how to arm yourself with the information to avoid it in the future. And using everything as a learning experience, even our challenges, even things that have caused great suffering, great pain. Get what you learned from that and use it to maintain your health, to help other people get over a health crisis or a health challenge. And then utilize, even if it's within someone else. All of my years of assisting people with illnesses, I've just learned different ways that people handle things, different views that people have had. So I'm always trying to utilize and get from whatever experience, even if me as teacher, I'm always learning from what other people's experiences, because we won't go through everything ourselves, thank God, right? But we can always learn from other things or experiences that people have had that have come into our paths or on our paths. Some examples of, again, not my favorite word, but again, I pull information. So not every word that you'll see in my handouts do I agree with, not so much an alternative therapies type of person. I always will replace that with traditional therapies, but we know that it includes things like herbal medicine, nutritional therapies, homeopathy, massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, naturopathy or naturopathy, music therapy, faith healing, even these folk medicine, even though there are many terms that people have used, right, that will refer to this same exact thing, natural, holistic healing. There are many terms that we most often use interchangeably. all of it's fine. The point is we're using what God has provided. We're using non-invasive, we're using naturally grown substances, void of chemicals and man-made substances to just avoid negative reactions from our mind, body, and spirit. I love this picture of this Sangoma. The point here is not so much the ritual she may be doing to prepare in her healing session, but the wonderful, right, array of herbs that are pictured here behind her. As we go through the course, I always say I give information usually that I can find documented, that I can usually demonstrate and easily teach from, but know that some of the herbs that I'll mention in the course, you may not find in your local area. It may be something that's indigenous to another part of the world. And depending on where you are and how you have access to different supplements, you may not be able to obtain it. However, every area has a Sangoma, so to speak. And it may be called something different. This person, this healer may be called something different, but there is a traditional healer in most areas. Your local herbs person or herbsman or herb woman. She may be a traditional priest. She may be a spiritualist in conjunction with doing the herbs. And in some disciplines, it's very normal. You go to an acupuncturist here in America, you will almost always find Chinese herbs that they're selling, right? So this is not unusual, right? So it's not unusual or any less credible if you're going to a spiritual healer or a traditionalist that will also be an expert at local herbs, medicines, plants that heal the body. So if in your area there's a local herbalist and you're trying to address an issue, please go to them, you know, and everything. And this is back to the self-love. Be confident in yourself. Pray for discernment, pray for clarity. If you're going to some place or some person that's maybe unknown to you or unfamiliar, go and fill it out. See if you're comfortable with the information, the spirit, the energy of what the person is showing, how they have their business set up or what they offer or what they, but I do implore you to utilize our local or your local healers. Some other basic concepts of holistic healing, most of which I think will probably address the innate healing power. You're a person, not a disease, right? You're responsible for your own health and well-being, fixing the cause. So we've kind of approached some of these, and we know that some of the ways in which to address our health, right, will include diet, detoxification, fasting may be included. We'll always need to consider what foods to avoid. Breaking bad habits, balancing your meridians, your chakras, any energy fields and things, acupressure, which all do to balance energy in the body. Sometimes stagnant energy will cause a problem with your liver, your kidneys, and other organs. So all of these are concepts or aspects that we use when we're talking about a holistic approach. Eating a more alkaline diet, alkaline water, juicing, especially leafy greens that will have so many minerals in them. A lot of times in this day and age, we've gotten into smoothies. I'm always a proponent of actual juicing and making sure that we're following the good food combining chart that we'll get to next week. But there are many aspects that can be included. And the other part of that, in terms of being gentle with yourself, whatever resonates with you, that's what I suggest you focus on. There'll be so many aspects. Not everything will you be attracted to. You may say, not really into fasting. That's not something that I see myself doing. Or don't know about some of this Asian meridians, acupressure, whatever. If it's something that just doesn't sit well with you or seems something, you know, oh, what's the chakra? I'm not really into that. That's fine. As you maybe ease into it or learn more of it later, you can focus on your diet. You can focus on juicing. You can focus on quality water intake. You can focus on so many aspects. Later in this cycle, we'll talk again about detox. You may focus on the different paths of elimination and focus on cleansing and detoxing your different organs throughout the year. So there's so many places you can start. If you know you don't want to be a vegetarian, you may start with cutting out sugars, which in a lot of cases is a good place to start, right? Some people are so focus on cutting out meat from the diet, while a lot of us more so need to cut out sugar. So you can start at any number of these places that we're talking about, but this is just to give you an idea of some of the components of holistic healing. Some people do vibrational medicine, vibrational healing, energy healing. All of these, again, if you are not familiar, you can learn more about these, but any and everything that will bring our body, our whole being back into balance, I encourage you to be open to it, even if it's not something you did grow up with. And so that's the piece there. I'm running a little short on time, but let me just go briefly into our nutritional section. So we talked about diet, detox, juicing, that sort of thing. So the basic aspects of eating is knowing what we're eating and what it contains. So what are nutrients? Nutrients are the substances found in food that provide nourishment to the body. It's very simple. And if you can't find the nourishment in that food, that is likely a food that you should avoid. If you're struggling to say, I don't know if this candy bar has any nutritional value, yeah, then that may be where you start. That may be where you'll say, okay, I'm going to just search for foods that I know have nutritional value. They're going to provide one of these categories, right, of nutrients to my body. And so these 6 main types of nutrients are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water, right? And so the other thing I always like to talk about when we're talking about food, because this is what we do every day, right? We probably as a culture focus a lot around food. We socialize and fellowship around food. So what we eat is really, really important. And so I really want to encourage us to have a more healthy outlook about food. While most of us do eat for pleasure, right? And you should enjoy your food, I want you to focus on just what I said. Focus on what the nutrition you're getting. Is this food life-giving, life-sustaining? Is it going to help you reach your goals, right? So your goal may be to, you know, do a particular job or have a family, raise your children, live a long life, be happy, you know, whatever your goals may be, this is the key to it, in my opinion. I think that in order to live whatever dream you have to be present. You have to be here for it. And again, I always like to bring the empowerment piece to it. This is power. We won't control everything. We can eat healthy and have some tragic accident, you know, out in the world in a vehicle or while traveling or on a job and have some kind of accident happen. But of what we can control, this I think is one of the major ones. And I think it's very, very empowering to say, okay, I can control what I put into my body and I can have an impact on the outcome of that. So can't control what diseases my body may be stricken with, even with eating healthy, but I can still have a say, and that's empowering. So you can look at, okay, are these the right type of carbohydrates? Are these the right types of fats? Are these the right types of proteins? Am I getting the essential vitamins and minerals that I need? Am I drinking the right type of water and the right amount of water? So these are things that we'll talk a little bit more about next week. But I encourage you to really start evaluating and maybe start with, if I may, give you some homework. Start with keeping a food journal, a food diary, if you will, right? I used to do this years ago and would always encourage folk, keep let's do at least a month, or let's say 3 weeks, 21 days. Let's say 21 days, right? But start keeping track of exactly what you eat, what you drink, right? And then at the end, maybe you won't do it every day, but at the end of the week, also write how you feel, right? Did you have this energy you expected? Did you have the energy you normally would have, or that you need to have for your lifestyle? Is there a change in your skin, your energy level, your bowel movements? All of these things, I really would like you, right? I would like you to, let me stop sharing because I want to see some faces. I would like some people to be saying, I can do that. Oh, most of y'all cut the cameras off. Okay, well, I really encourage you to start keeping a food journal, a food diary. And again, not just solid foods, but also liquids, because a lot of times we're not drinking enough water, right? I get busy, I sometimes am challenged with that, but this will help you evaluate what your shortcomings are, what your deficits are, what you need to improve on. So that's a good first step. And even if you've done it in the past when you were, I don't know, sometimes we only do it when we're trying to lose weight, for example, or if we do have a health condition, but let's do it just to start from here and know how to move forward in improving our health. And that, I think, will be a good place to start when we come back next week and start talking about the nutrition component and the nutritional value you're getting from your foods, okay? So I'm out of time. Thank you all. I have a couple of minutes. I'll address some comments. I saw a couple pop up. But until next week, I bid you good health and peace.
Yes, thank you very much, Nana Akua, for a wonderful lecture. I think according to the comments I saw people were learning a lot from you. And if there is someone who has like questions, they can still send it. And for the handout, I'm going to share the email. You can reach out to Nana Akua for the handout. Thank you very much, Nana Akua. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yes. Up next, we are going to have Dr. Wright. Dr. Wright, Evelyn, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So let me get my computer open too, because you guys already have a document. So welcome everyone to the Pan-African History and Organizing course seminar. I'm Tyreen Wright, and we're gonna go over what you should expect to learn and examine in this course. The syllabus is in the WhatsApp group, but I'm gonna share it here for those of you who can't see that just yet. Hopefully you can see that already, but I'm going to share it here as well. So welcome, thank you for taking your time to join us. And I have a couple of texts. Now, first things first. So it's the Pan-African History and Organizing course. It's an ideological training course for I Love Black people. But what I want to say is that you should make sure that you save the documents because most of the documents are historical, and some of the texts that I use are out of circulation or unfortunately very expensive at this date and juncture, because some of them are decades old because it is history. Okay. For example, the resolutions for the Pan-African Congresses. So you want to make a folder for yourself, or however you can store them. I wouldn't suggest you print all of it out, but maybe at a later date, you can put something together, a binder together of the readings. So I would encourage that first and foremost, that you keep all the readings that I share in here because they're challenging to get otherwise, okay? Second, I'll be introducing you to a couple of texts, and I will, in real time, share those texts, like show you the cover or whatever the case may be that they're coming from, just in case you want to follow up in a more in-depth way, go read that particular title. So for example, one book that I use, and it's definitely officially incorporated into the syllabus, is Women's Liberation and the African Freedom Struggle by Thomas Sankara. Okay. And I wanted to make a point to put that in there because we do, I think, so sorely need to understand the role of women in Pan-Africanism and our freedom struggle around the world, whether it's in the United States or on the African continent. Women have been essential to advancing liberation for African people and Black people. So without any further ado, I'm gonna keep my eye on the time because I always go over, and I will get to as sort of introductions, but those of you, I see some familiar faces. I don't always go through the whole litany of like who I am, blah, blah, blah. It's easier for me to just get right to it and you'll sort of figure it out. And I will say a little bit about myself in the end, okay? But first things first, let me just switch screens over here real quick. I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see what's already posted in the WhatsApp group. So I'm gonna share my screen. I have my computer in front of me, but if those of you who are already been here, you know that I'm spoiled. I like to use my phone, even though, you know, it's not like the epitome of high technology, or maybe it is, right? Because it's the phone and I could still show you a document. So you should see my screen, and then I tapped, if you guys, I'm gonna go back. This is in the WhatsApp group, right? And here's the document. So this is our syllabus. I thought it would be interesting to change everything into red, black, and green, the Bandera colors adopted by Marcus Garvey for the flag. But that being said, this is the syllabus. Put my glasses on in order to read it to you. So I'm just gonna go over it. I won't go over every assignment, but I'm gonna go over the introduction to the course so that you understand what it is we are intending to do. Okay, so an introduction to Pan-African History and Organizing is an ideological development course that surveys the history of Pan-Africanism as a theory and practice. The seminar is structurally designed to examine and engage in a critical analysis of the theories and practices of Pan-Africanism, both as a political and ideological impetus for organizing African and Black people globally. The course begins with the historical foundations of Pan-Africanism at the turn of the 20th century. While it is simply a budding concept in the African diaspora and the Americas, it becomes, so let me stop there. So as you will learn, Pan-Africanism didn't always exist in the terms, in that specific term. However, it has existed for, let's say, centuries at this point, over a century. However, the term emerges at a very specific point in time in history, okay? So we will cover that, right? It becomes the impetus for international organizing in Europe, the first Pan-African Conference, 1900, and the Americas. It finds its highest expression on the African continent in liberation and revolutionary struggles against imperialism, with the objective of continental unity, right? So in the course, we're going to examine Pan-Africanism's highest expression, which will be on the African continent. And we'll get into all the existing bodies that are present today and what led up to that, okay? It becomes the impetus for international organizing in Europe, the first Pan-African Conference, and 1900 and the Americas. It finds its highest expression on the African continent in liberation and revolutionary struggles against imperialism with the objective of continental unity. Many have questioned the measurable results produced by Pan-Africanism. This course explores this idea and qualifies the practice and production of Pan-Africanism, considering measurable social, political, economic, and material gains for African and Black people globally by examining policy cases, conference resolutions, and various approaches employed by early proponents of Pan-Africanism, African nationalist organizational bodies and institutions. So there's sort of like a 3 or 4 tier examination going on here in the course, meaning we will look at individual proponents of Pan-Africanism. Most of you will off the top know people like Du Bois and his contributions to Pan-Africanism, specifically in the form of the first Pan-African or the Pan-African Congresses. And he is there at the first Pan-African Conference. But then we move to organizational expressions, right? Like, you know, the UNIA and Marcus Garvey, and how these ideology or this particular ideology expresses itself in an organizational form. And then we move to the African continent and look at how nations are seeking to express this by struggling for liberation. So we're taking it from the individual to the organizational to the national expressions of Pan-Africanism. And hopefully, you know, we're still in motion with this in terms of expressing Pan-Africanism, but hopefully one day we'll have continental expressions, but we will explore that, right? So right now, you know anything about the African Union, we know one aspect that has emerged or program that has emerged is the Pan-African free trade on the African continent, where people can trade across borders. But see, we are looking not only at the expression, but to qualify the expression. So that's important, right? The learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are a working definition of Pan-Africanism. So you should, at the end of this, have a working understanding of what Pan-Africanism is. You should have a working definition, right? Meaning very easy to apply, and you can see both theory and practice in your understanding, right? The ability to identify Pan-Africanist thought, speech, and action across various technological mediums, social media platforms, virtual realities, and brick and mortar spaces. So you should be able to identify, just because you understand what Pan-Africanism is, what is definitively Pan-Africanist or not. I think Pan-Africanism has historically suffered from the idea that it is abstract, or that it's simply African people coming together, Black people coming together, and that is not quite it, okay? There's more, right? So there's action attached to Pan-Africanism, okay? So 3, the ability to qualify whether policies, legislation, organizational initiatives, and or general practices are Pan-Africanist in nature and beneficial to African and Black people. 4, the ability to identify imperialism, colonialism, and neo-colonialism as oppressive and exploitative systems as they have manifested throughout the African world. Africa is diaspora. The means and methods through which African and Black people have organized, fought, resisted, and liberated themselves and nations from imperialism, colonialism, and the ways in which neo-colonialism is currently being resisted. The role of Pan-Africanism as a primary strategy and tactic in the effort to eliminate racism and xenophobia. 7, the ability to differentiate multiple perspectives through an analysis of different case studies built on measured evidence-based arguments and research essays. 8, the ability to apply the knowledge acquired in this seminar to the active role and responsibility as ambassadors of I Love Black People in eradicating racism and xenophobia. 6, the ability to qualify everything before declaring it substantial or beneficial to African and Black people locally and globally. 10, and last, develop a measurable results orientation regarding business practices and services, policy and political agendas, legislative initiatives, organizational efforts, and institutional practices. Okay, so those are the things that you should not only know, but be able to do, apply by the end of this seminar. Okay, and the seminar themes are Pan-Africanism, right? Which essentially means unity, but unity as the primary organizing tool, weapon, strategy for eradicating racism and xenophobia against African and Black people. That's very important because I have here Pan-Africanism and, in short, unity. However, unity that serves African people, right? Not just that we're getting together, okay? Because I think that that's the biggest myth and misconception about Pan-Africanism is that, you know, as long as we have a global representation of Black people, that is Pan-Africanism. That is not, okay? And you will learn that in depth here. The historical role, importance, and use of the dialectical conversing discourse sharing relationship between African and Black people globally as an effective strategy and tactic in combating white supremacy, racism, and xenophobia, which is a global pandemic. Synthesizing and application of Pan-Africanist thought, speech, and action in everyday scenarios and challenges. And the role of education, specifically history, in eliminating ignorance, divisiveness, propaganda, and individualism amongst African and Black people in the effort to achieve Pan-Africanism, unity, right? Global Pan-Africanism, the unification of African people for the purpose of eradicating exploitation and oppression, racism, is a direct solution to the condition of African and Black people, right? And then here's the course schedule. So already, and I'll be posting these in real time for you. I'm not going to go over the whole course schedule because, you know, we'll be doing that week by week. That being said, once again, all the materials will be provided for you, and there are a couple of links. I always try to do some measure of visual because everybody, sure, you're going to read, you will read. However, we are prone to being visually stimulated. So I try to do a little bit of that. First off, for this week, the lecture obviously is on Pan-African history and organizing and ideological training course, and that is the introduction to the course. But then I'm going to share, and you see there the URL for a short video. It's about 11 minutes with Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael. And he is going to speak about the history of Pan-Africanism, so you get some context of the concept. And now, all of this is also covered in the reading, meaning the hardcore history. We will visit all of this in the readings as well, but you have it there in video in terms of, you know, some discourse and dialogue on the issue, right? And also to the first week, I like to have ambassadors, as I have my students in the university, and I just, in the last, I guess you could say the last year, because we've been doing this for 2 years, over 2 years now, actually closer to April or May will be 3 years. So I guess it's closer to 2.5 years. We've been doing this course, developing this course, this ideological training course. And initially I did not use this film, The Journey of Man, A Genetic Odyssey, but I used it in the university setting. So I incorporated it into this course because I think it is important to understand what it means to be African, what it means to be human. And you're going to hear me very often use them synonymously, because to be human means to be African most of the time that human beings have existed. A different way to say that would be that human beings have been African, identifiably African for most of the time on this earth and in existence. Okay? It's very recent that other people have emerged, and they are a product of African people, of course, spread to the four corners of the world. Side note, all the world's indigenous people are Black. So these kind of conversations that you see on the internet about, oh, we're not African, we're indigenous Black. Well, the indigenous Black people that are now called Native Americans after many centuries here in the Americas were African upon arrival. So it's not, we're not African, we're really indigenous Black. It's that the indigenous people of America are African first. They were African when they arrived. So, so I'll clear up the timeline and the confusion around issues like that, right? To be human means to be African. And so if you're not African, then one must ask what kind of hominid you are, right? There's another way to say it. A classmate of mine likes to say, there are no human beings that live outside of a cultural construct. The first humans were African. Therefore, to be human means to be African. Okay? No human beings have, and culture is how we live, what we do, how we pray, how we bury our dead, what we eat, all of that. Well, the first human beings existed on the African continent, and the culture that they constructed around their location was African culture. And so human at that time for 200 to 300,000 years, and that's a lot. If you can't conceptualize what 200 to 300,000 is, think about it in terms of money. I'm sure you understand what $200 to $300,000 is. So that is how long we have been on this earth. And for most of that time, we have existed on the African continent. Okay? So to be human meant to be African first. And yes, Black comes in at because the natural state of human beings is to have a jacket, something to protect you. That's called melanin, and therefore that is what the skin tone is for. That being said, this concept of race only emerged in the last 4,000 to 5,000 years, or 4,000 to 500 years, when the European comes out into the rest of the world and creates this racial construct, okay, called race. And we know that in America because that emerges around 1600, when enslavement is taking place simultaneously with indentured servitude. And there is this identity placed, which is totally a physical marker on us as Black, right? The descendants of Africa as Black. Okay, so it is a social construct, this thing called race. And then, of course, racism, right, is marginalizing people as a result of that physical characteristic, color. So, and culture is very different. Culture is how we live. Okay, so we'll get further into that, but I ask people to watch this film, The Journey of Man, A Genetic Odyssey, because this gets into the scientific side of it, meaning that there's always been this theory that said that humanity began and lived and thrived since time immemorial in Africa. Okay. However, with science, we were able to prove this. right? Through DNA mapping and testing. And so the idea is that humanity began in Africa and then migrated to other parts of the world and populated the world. So everyone in the world actually is a descendant of Africa. It's just a difference on the timeline, right? If you are an African like myself, who happens to be in the Americas, when I leave the African continent is at a particular, or when my ancestors leave the African continent, but I am my ancestors, right? So that's my contention, but is at a particular point in time in history. The people who would eventually come to call themselves Native Americans would leave the African continent around 40,000 years ago, okay? But still, the place and point of origin is the same, right? Africa is the home of humanity. So this film, although not by an African person, Black person, is actually a geneticist named Spencer Wells. He does something called mapping, DNA mapping, where he tests the DNA of various people around the world. And he is able, whether they like it or not, to prove, to qualify the theory with the science and conclusively determine that the home of humanity is in fact Africa. Okay, so it's interesting, but some of what you also see in this film and why it's important is that as he goes around the world and encounters various cultures of people, there are attitudes towards realizing and understanding that they are in fact African, or what we're dealing with today, right? So it's sort of a colliding, it brings together some issues that we're still dealing with, right? Meaning that we are living in a racialized society now. And the attitudes around understanding that everyone in the world comes from this particular group of people who are the natural and indigenous inhabitants of the African continent and are naturally melanated, therefore Black, their attitudes are exposed in this. And we are still struggling with that in the world. That is what racism is, dealing with this notion of white supremacy and culture and the myth of Black inferiority. Okay, so I want you all to watch that, have discussion in the WhatsApp group, give your thoughts on Spencer Wells. And let me just say this is a disclaimer. I don't care about Spencer Wells. He is not the subject. So he has many contradictions. He'll say in the course of this documentary, oh, Europeans created science. We know that's a lie. We're just here for the DNA mapping, okay? The scientific, when he gets that bit of blood from individuals in it and is able to connect the dots that lead us to the understanding that the origin of humanity is in Africa, okay? So he has contradictions. We can talk about him. I talk about it all day. That's what I do in the classroom in terms of identifying, extrapolating what is relevant and useful for us versus his extra, issues, right? And we all have them. That being said, he cannot interrupt the science. It is beyond him, meaning that it is what it is, the science, right? So yeah, we can talk about that, but we don't want to fixate on him. We're here for the science qualifying the well-known theory that has always existed, that we all originate on the African continent, okay? So, and many things that I will use in terms of visuals, we will critique it just that way. This is what's useful to us, this is what's not. Likewise, with Kwame Ture, the history of Pan-Africanism, he's going to share with you his understanding of the history of Pan-Africanism, many of the same points I'll be touching on in the context of the course. Let me just be clear. There are many definitions that would emerge in terms of Pan-Africanism. So there are many definitions of Pan-Africanism. However, we are going to go to the bare bones and initial definition that emerges in 1900 with the first Pan-African Conference. And we're going to see how the individual proponents over time actually adopt Pan-Africanism and the particular action they use to advance Pan-Africanism. So for example, W.E.B. Du Bois, he will use organization as a method or a tactic to advance Pan-Africanism with the production of the Pan-African Congresses. But then we're gonna examine an unlikely figure's expression of Pan-Africanism, and that is Booker T. Washington. And he will actually promote independence through industry as his path to Pan-Africanism. But at the core of Pan-Africanism for all of them is this understanding that it's unity for the purpose of eradicating oppression and exploitation around the world. It's unity for the purpose of eradicating oppression and exploitation of Black people, of African people around the world, okay? And so all may use a different path to get to that end, but the end goal is still the same, to deal with our condition. We're not getting together to, shuck and jive. We're getting together, we're coming together. Unity is for a purpose, and that is to deal with our condition. So any other gatherings that we have that are not precisely or specifically for the purpose of eradicating our condition of exploitation and oppression, then it is not Pan-Africanist. And I will show you over time in the philosophical lines of many proponents of Pan-Africanism how they meet that goal, okay? Now, specifically Kwame Ture, which I encourage you to watch that video. It's only about 11 minutes and I'm only 1 minute over right now. I encourage you to look at that. He will define Pan-Africanism as the unification of African people under scientific socialism. Okay, somebody's trying to call me. Can you all still see my screen? Because it just took a call came in and stopped. Can you still see the syllabus?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So Kwame Ture will talk about Pan-Africanism as the unification of African people for the purpose, through scientific socialism, which basically is a material analysis. He's saying that socialism would be the appropriate response to capitalism's expression of colonialism and neocolonialism, right? Meaning people profit over people. That's what's happened to us everywhere we are, right? Whether it's on the African continent or whether that's in the Americas, the Caribbean, so on and so forth. The idea is that we have been commodified African people. And so what he's saying that has taken place under capitalism. So the social system that is a counter or antithesis to capitalism is socialism. Now, you don't have to internalize and believe that, because I think we can talk about a definition of capitalism. I think everybody has a different understanding. So we'll get into that as well. But you can put that into your memory bank and understanding of one of the definitions of Pan-Africanism. And right after this week, next week, you'll be engaging some readings that will get more specifically into the history, right? How that budding history took place in the year of 1900 and leading up to that, right? How early Pan-Africanists are defining Pan-Africanism and the issues, how racism is expressing itself globally, racism and white supremacy. How is it expressing itself, and why do the early proponents of Pan-Africanism seek, how and why they seek to address it? Okay, So right after this, or in your leisure in the next week, first, I would like you to watch Kwame Ture, right? The History of Pan-Africanism, just to give you some timeline or some understanding of the general history and the individuals involved. We're going to read that specific history too next week. But then also too, I would like you to watch The Journey of Man, The Genetic Odyssey, which clears up this whole confusion around what it means to be African, what it means to be human, what it means to be Black, or at least the first two, African and human. Are they synonymous? Are they the same thing? I would argue they are, but this addresses it from a scientific level, right? And a social level, right? I think that's it. So I'm going to end there. You can scroll through the sessions we will have, the meetings we will have, and at your leisure, just to get an idea of what we will be doing. Okay, so that in essence is the course. I'm going to take it off of share. And you'll see me, and you can ask me a few questions if you like. I guess I should say something about myself. So my name is Tyreen Wright. I am a historian and political scientist. We've been teaching this course for the last 2.5 years at this point. I actually teach, I'm a professor. I teach in the public university system in New York. I'm born here in the United States. I went to a historically Black college called Tuskegee University, where I was a student of history and studied African and African-American history. I went on to get a graduate degree in modern African history with a focus on the necessity for armed struggle in settler colonies, particularly East Africa. But then at the same time, I ended up stumbling into a study of an unlikely figure's role in African affairs, Booker T. Washington. So I'm author of a book called Booker T. Washington in Africa, The Making of a Pan-Africanist, a really off the beating path approach to understanding Washington's international and clandestine role in African affairs. We'll look at one of the cases that are in that book I just mentioned, the African exclusion measure, where Washington is the key figure of challenging and debunking a piece of very racist US legislation, okay? So then I go on to get my PhD in political science, essentially. And and then I would go on to advance the same research on a deeper level. I teach again, I said, in CUNY. That doesn't probably mean anything to you, City University in New York. And I've been teaching history and modern Black and African political thought and all of that good stuff, writing, researching on that topic for a long time. So I think that's as much as you want to know about me, right? I do a whole bunch of other things too, but yeah. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I have to change this around in order for you. Hold on. Oh. Wait, hold on. Your microphone is unmuted. Okay, so for some reason, I don't know what happened, but okay. I was saying, Yvonne, can you see me? All right, so I'm trying to see the comments. If anybody had a question or anything that they wanted to say. Okay, let's see. How do I would like to be a part of the class? Okay, so anybody interested in joining the class, please write in the chat to the administrators that you'd like to join the class. Okay, so this person, Peter, oh, hi, Peter, I remember you from last week. Okay, yeah, so make sure Peter is added. I have not received any response. Okay, so please, can you make sure that Peter is added to the course? Otherwise, thanks for the presentation. Thank you, Peter. Hi, Haki. Do I feel his view of socialism is practical and achievable? I do. Ayo, hello. Thank you. Sure. Can you email me, Ayo, at, so I'm not encouraging other people to email me because I am not the best at answering emails. I maintain several email addresses. So yeah, but Ayo, you can send me an email at globalafricapress@gmail.com. So globalafricapress@gmail.com. Okay. And yeah, I would be interested. Okay. And that's to Ayo Kindi. Okay. And that's wonderful. Okay, I would love to do that. Chris wants to be added. Ayo wants to be added. Yeah, Chris wants to be added. Let me see. Are there any other comments, questions? Wow, okay. Al Nafi, thank you for sharing. Oh, okay, that was probably for Nana Kua about food. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that was from me. Okay, but I saw the comment from Malawi. Thank you, Ayo. Okay, I see your response, africanamericanholiday.org. Okay, great. Yeah, I see. So could you email me that information at globalafricapress@gmail.com? Okay, February 11th. Good. Yeah, that's a good time. Yes, you can still see these comments make a lot of sense to me. Since some of the also has a lot of scientific adaptation that would the world's exhibit. Yes, and DNA, Ayo, thank you. Yes, of course, you're agreeing that civilization, not just civilization, humanity, ourselves itself began in Africa, right? I love when people say they're not African. And my next question is always, what kind of hominid are you? All right, because the Homo sapien is African. And that's what we are. We are the Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens sapien is the scientific term. Okay, so yeah. Yes, absolutely. To be human means to be African. Oh, wonderful, Sanko. You said Kwame Ture was your boss. Well, he is. One little tidbit about me is that I was in a political organization that he was the founder of. So yes, I agree. He was my boss too. And that's wonderful that you knew him. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I think I saw everything, most people's comments. Thank you so much for contributing your time to this, to engaging in ideological development for the purpose of eradicating oppression and exploitation, and being a part of I Love Black People. I'm trying to, I'm trying to get better with time, but I'm not that great. So I'm going to end here because it's 1 minute before 12 and I'm already over. So you will be reading, someone says, so what's the next thing? You will be reading what's in the WhatsApp group that I just shared. You will watch the video by Kwame Ture. And you will, okay, after taking the initiative. So what's the next thing for those of us in Africa after taking the initiative? Okay, well, we'll talk about that. For now, this is ideological development. So please read. You know, this is the thing about ideology. So before you act, you need to think, right? And so the idea in this course and the idea at large is that you understand what you're doing before you do it. And so this way you can do whatever you do with purpose and focus and clarity, okay? Part of, someone said they love Kwame Ture, they knew him. Well, part of what we need to get into the habit of doing is this. Kwame Ture says it best. The role of the conscious is not to make the unconscious, right, conscious, but to make the unconscious conscious of their unconscious behavior. So when you do whatever you do, this is going to help you understand not only why you're doing what you're doing, but who it serves. Okay? And ultimately, Pan-Africanism is about doing what is to the benefit of African people in very tangible ways. So it's not even an assessment to say, stop doing what you're doing. It's for you to become conscious of what you're doing and who that serves. Most of our faithfulness to the powers that be that go against us in our own best interest, we do those things unconsciously because we are pressured to, because we are forced to, and sometimes out of habit. This will get you into the mindset of understanding, evaluating the behavior you're already engaged in, and developing you, ideologically developing you to act with purpose and strategically in the interest of African people. Okay, so the idea is just theory and practice, right? Know what you're doing and then who you're doing it for before you carry it out. All right. I think I kind of served that. Yes. Yeah. Global Africa Press at Gmail. Exactly. IO. Okay. All right. So I think I got most of the questions in, and it is 12:03. I'm 3 minutes over. Most of the time, I'm going to try to end on time, which is at 11:45. Okay, but I'll give myself a break because this is the introductory session. And you know, yeah, okay. So thank you all for joining us. Oh, let me just show you one other book that I'm going to be using. And no, you don't have to read or anything like that. We're going to be using also some readings from Amilcar Cabral. They're already in the syllabus, so you'll be getting those selected readings and stuff like that. This is called Return to the Source, Selected Speeches of Amilcar Cabral. If you guys can see that. Definitely a good book to have, but if you can't get it, and you don't need to get it for this course, I've already scanned the readings that we will use from it for the purpose of this seminar. Okay. All right. I am because we are. Please stay safe until next time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tarin Wright. I am because you are. Appreciate each and every one of you for the love and support. Thank you, our lovely sister Joyce Cooper, in support of the movement. She just purchased the t-shirt right now. All the proceedings are going to help those who are facing challenges in the Dominican Republic. We appreciate you. Also, thank you, everyone. I can see we had Haki, T, Katie Smurphy, thank you for the support. Charles Spencer, Larry, Siabonga Peter, Edward Sargent, Abuga, Che, thank you guys. Suleiman, I think I didn't, yeah, I think I mentioned anyone in Ayo, Handy, Candy, thank you so much for the love and support. You should also support each other, love each other, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hopefully everyone will be safe. Thank you. Peace and love. Bye-bye.